Yeah, KFUGLP Crescent City. That's our legal ID, and we give that because it is at the top of the hour, 1 minute past noon. We are joined in the I'll let you finish the water. Don't worry about it. We're joined in the KFUG studios here by Linda Sutter from. I'm just going to say you're from District 5.
I am.
You are. Linda Sutter running this round of election fun for David Finnegan's seat in District 5 on the Board of Supervisors.
That is accurate.
So let me ask you this then, right off the bat, and I said this is something I try to ask anybody who's doing this. Whatever would possess you to do such a thing?
I have a lot of passion. Let's put it that way. I don't see. The only thing that's stifling Del Norte County and Crescent City is the government. And we have no businesses going on here. We have no industry, no jobs. I mean, there's some, obviously, because we're a city, right? But that's my driving force, is to bring industry into Del Norte County, because people that are currently on welfare, they don't want to be on welfare. I've heard overhear people, they were ecstatic just going out and getting signatures for Donna Westfall because they got $2 for each signature.
Oh, wow.
I mean, that's horrible. I'm happy that they want to do something, but because there's no industry here, it's a shame, and it's been like this for many years.
It really has for like decades. Yeah,
it's just a dead end, and I want to be someone that promotes getting a professional economic developer here. What can we do? What kind of incentives can we bring to the table to have other businesses relocate here? So that's my driving force. And
so I mean, so your basic concern then is economic. You'd like to see everybody, the quality of life here rise in Del Norte County, and so that's
it absolutely has to. It just has to. It's just mind-boggling to, when people don't have money in their pockets. Let's just put it this way: they can't go out and spend money. And you can't get businesses here because people don't have the money to spend to support the business. So, in order to do that, things need to change.
How, as a member of the Board of Supervisors, how do you envision actually doing that?
Well, like I said, we'd have to look for a professional economic developer who has the know-how to bring these businesses here. We have to have incentives. Like, let's say a business comes here and maybe they don't have to pay sales tax for a year or some kind of incentive. But that's basically what needs to be looked at, as having a professional economic developer.
That's interesting. So on basically like a staff economic developer, you want somebody who's here that's their job is to develop the economy, instead of it being sort of in the past like a commission here, a something here, a development here, and it seems sort of almost ad hoc, like there's somebody who, okay, nobody has the responsibility or the vision to drive this, 24/7. It seems to be catch as catch can, and to have a dedicated economic developer who's out basically trying to pump up Del Norte County. That's an interesting idea. That's interesting. I wonder if there's the money to pay that person.
There's $124,000 for city manager. That is
that's
for
true.
grab.
That's absolutely right.
I think our CEO makes of the counselors a year. At least that's what I found on the transparency site.
Who, Jay?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what I saw.
Wow.
Now that's probably including benefits and whatnot else, but whatever.
He must be shopping in Brookings then.
Yeah.
With all that money.
He's going at it. So specific. This is something I'm interested with. Okay, we've got Del Norte County, and Del Norte County is kind of Del Norte County, and we all know Del Norte County, and the Board of Supervisors runs it. And when I go watch the Board of Supervisors, I'm watching these folks. I don't think so much about the districts they represent, I think about just Delaware County and look at them as sort of a governing board for Delaware County. How much of, if you are on the Board of Supervisors, how much of your time, of your brain, of your effort is taken up with, do you feel would be taken up with specifically District 5 issues as opposed to all of Delaware County? Or is that even a line that you draw? Are the issues that affect Delaware County synonymous with the issues that affect District 5?
I would think that they're synonymous. I know there's other issues, because when you go to Klamath, that's a sovereign nation down there, and they have their own thing going on, but they're still a part of our county, and so that's part of the 5th district. That's it's, and then you got the up here in Crescent City as well, and so you've got these two entities that you have to be very much a part of, both of them, and get a complete understanding to bring them all together. But as far as the issues, I think we're all facing the same issues. Last chance grade, the Sutter Coast Hospital, the economic blight,
No, you're absolutely right. How important then for the future of the county is, because things have changed. How long have you lived in Delaware County?
I've lived here 25 years.
Okay, so things have changed.
As long as Finnegan was supervisor.
Exactly.
Wow.
So you've got you've seen then the evolution and the change of the Native American experience here in Delaware County, and the Tolowa and Yurok. The creation of the casinos and the money that's come into the community and the involvement of the Indian governances here in Delaware County and it seems like in the past few years, especially the Yurok and the Klamath and down in Klamath have really kind of come together and have kind of gotten their show going, and they've gotten the new hotel built and working on the casino and doing things and the jet boats, and sort of have marshaled their forces and are interested in becoming more a part of Delaware County and governing of Delaware County. Do you see that? Do you feel that?
I see that we're all coming together. I do see that. There are some complete differences, but I do see that they have managed that we all have come together, because every issue facing the county involves the tribes. They've got to they got to know what's going on. What can they do? They're right there with us. We're just all together. It's a great community.
Yeah, I'm happy to see them. I'm happy to see the Yurok tribe coming together, and actually it seems like they're reaching out to try to become more mainstream. When we were doing Visitors Bureau thing, we started seeing them coming to the Visitors Bureau and coming up with Yurok country and their own self-promotion, and it seems like they've gotten their stuff together basically and are ready to move.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So you mentioned other issues facing Delaware County and of course facing all of us here. What are your thoughts on last chance grade?
Oh boy, that's a really tough one. But
I know
let me tell you, we just had a town hall meeting on last chance grade.
I want to ask you about that too.
In July 2015, the 114th Congress signed a HR 22 bill for $350 billion to be dispersed throughout the United States for roads, for highway. It was a highway fund.
And we just want one.
Just $1
billion.
That's all.
Just one.
I know. And so, when they start talking about the 10 top cities in California, Delaware County was not on that list. So, but the thing is this, where do you draw the line when there's lives at stake here? And when I went to that meeting on Thursday night, it was so disappointing because people had questions. People wanted to sit as a group and they want to hear what everyone has to say so that they can come up with their own opinion or whatnot else.
You thought you were going to a town hall meeting.
That's right.
Yes.
But what we were going to was it was a hot mess because what they wanted to do was divide and conquer the people. And what I mean by that is that they had all these little stations set up all around the facility we were in. And at the end, of the presentation. They said, if you have questions, there's someone standing at each station and you can, but we wanted to ask as a group. Why would you want to do that if you really didn't want to answer the questions?
Yeah, that's interesting. So I see what you're saying about the divide and conquer. We're going to take the community here, split them up into these little atoms, and let your little issues kind of be addressed or not.
They
addressed.
basically said we're just not important enough to have the funding. That's my take on it.
Really?
And when practically 80 people just got up and left, they were disgusted.
Wow.
And this lady named Joan Chaplick, who was like she's a consultant for this company that introduces the presentators, and she got an earful from me, of course. But
Now, was she Caltrans or like a PR?
No,
Sounds
she was
like PR.
She was a consultant.
Okay, all right, interesting.
She's, then she starts to patronize me, which I don't really care. I'm sitting there listening to everything she said, and she said, well, we didn't realize how involved this community was. And
I didn't realize they have cars.
And she
And
said,
they drive.
Wow.
What's wrong?
She goes, are you going to the Klamath one? I said, no. And she
So
said, well,
was this the one in Crescent City that you talked to her?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that
she
was...
said the Klamath one was yesterday, right?
Yes, yeah.
The next day. She said, I'm going to make sure it's run completely different. Well, I thought I had an appointment, so I couldn't be there, but by gosh, I was wrong. So I showed up at that meeting. And as soon as she announced that she was going to do the same thing as she did in Crescent City,
Wow.
I just got up and walked out because it was like they have no interest in letting the people know anything, and they have no interest of hearing any of our questions, and that's absolutely indespicable.
It is insulting to hear, oh, we had no idea you guys cared about this.
We had no idea you exist.
Wow. Okay, so given the difficulties of last chance grade, just physically falling into the ocean, financially having to come up with a plan for it, and then philosophically or interpersonally with the folks from Caltrans who came up here and said, what can we as a county do, in your opinion, to get their attention, to get them to move? Lee pointed out something. She had this insight that really blew me away.
The Jew brain again.
It's the Jew brain. She was saying, if it's going to cost $1 billion to replace, and that's just one number that's out there, right? But if it's going to cost $1 billion to do this, and if last chance grade falls into the ocean, and there are estimates that it would cost Del Norte County between $200 and $300 million a year. So she goes, well, what they're doing is they're going to let it fall, because it would cost more for the state to pay $1 billion to replace it than for Del Norte County to suffer $200 to $300 million a year. By that math, you could go 5 years, and the state wouldn't have to replace last chance grade. They leave it to us to kind of take the hit, and then finally probably the federal government would step in some sort of emergency basis and fund the replacement. So she thinks that the Sacramento's kind of just standing back because they don't care about us up here. We're not a big enough dollar sign for them to care
And
about us.
We don't have the population. Sorry.
Yeah.
On their website, it says in the questions that they have never reached out for funding for this project. So I don't understand. All
And
this
that's the
talk,
problem
they
with-
never even did a request for funding. We're
Yeah.
not even at that stage of the process.
Yeah.
So
Well, there is the environmental issues too,
mhm.
but here's the thing: is I read a study that was submitted by C.J. Wills, geological study. Excuse me.
No, help yourself.
And
some Smith River water.
There you go.
thank you, Smith River. The study basically said you can't, because of the geological makeup of the mountain. And then is that they're going to cut into the mountain, which means they're still going to be part of that mountain, and they're going to, the cheap way is to cut into the mountain and put a road over the top, and for like $300 million or something like that.
Wow.
Well, the issue's still going to be there, folks.
It's still a crumbly mountain.
Yeah, leave that mountain alone.
If it takes, the thing is if they can make it safe enough until God forbid, if we ever do get the money to do funding for a complete bypass, I think that's what we need to go for.
So you're looking for maybe like a stopgap sort of something to shore it up to make sure that it's absolutely safe, at least until we can do something bigger?
I think so.
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say, nah, you can't do that. I don't want to do that. I want to say, okay, well, I'll take that 300 million or whatever you want to give us, and let's go ahead and do that road, cut into that mountain before somebody else dies, before a lot of somebody's die.
Yeah.
And until, maybe that'll give us enough time to, by the time they get done with that, maybe, we could start getting some economic development issues going on here, some new industry.
That's the first time I've heard anybody say that, and that actually makes a lot of sense. So build the cheaper road on the bad mountain, but just to buy us some time until we can kind of do like we did south of Klamath with the Drury, the bypass that was built down there, and give us then we can work on funding this other road that will be much more permanent and inland more and farther
It'll
away.
be safe. I'm sure it'll be safe because I can't imagine that they would. Well,
I know.
With today's world, you never know.
And they built that. They built Last Chance Grade. So
back God knows when.
It was in the 1890s. Lee did some
Something
research
like
on
that.
it.
Yeah,
And
1800s.
even then they were going, this isn't a safe road.
Yeah, don't continue on
But
this.
it's lasted a couple hundred years. Okay?
Yeah, there we go. We got that. They
I
don't put
mean, well, back until 1972.
Yeah.
And then it.
Yeah, and that's another thing that gets me is that, lives are at stake here. It's not just we talk dollars and we talk all, but lives are at stake there. And there are people have kids in school buses go across Last Chance Grade every day. And,
That's right.
And the government keeps saying lives are at stake here, lives are at stake here, and then the population, the people, the voters, they say, well, what are you doing about it? And then they say, well, we're having meetings.
That issue was a little my sore spot too, because I see that when they were having these stakeholder meetings, the public or the newspaper wasn't invited to go to those meetings, even though they utilized public funds, $5,000 of taxpayers' hard-earned dollars to fund these stakeholder meetings, but yet, just certain people could come to the stakeholder meeting. And even the triplicate had mentioned that I think that's a little bit of a violation of the Brown Act, to be quite frankly with you. We need transparency. There's not.
Yeah, exactly. And it's almost like they're going, well, we're not being transparent with you because you just get in the way.
Because we didn't know you care.
Because you're
know
stupid.
You're a community.
Because you're stupid. Right, exactly.
Back to your woods.
Go back to the woods. Eat your fish.
Leave us alone.
All right. So that's an interesting point. I do. That's something I could get behind because there was one of the Board of Supervisors meetings. Chuck Blackburn got up, and I think he outlined that very basic scenario, which was for about $250-300 million. There's like a 5-mile bypass that could be cut farther back in, on the top of the mountain. It only goes through about 3 acres of old growth redwood. And you could put that in, and we have the expertise. Jerry Hemmingson on a weekend could probably go put a road in like that, right? I mean,
that's his vacation.
That's his time. That's his day off. I'm gonna go put in a road, baby.
All right.
On
the way to my garage.
His point was, here's the cheapest, the quickest thing. Let's do this because lives are. And to do that, to buy us a couple of 3 decades of time to do it more permanently and safer and right. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. That's the first time I've heard anybody float that. So thank you. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
So, all right. So we've solved Last Chance Grade.
Okay.
What about Sutter Health? What about Sutter
Oh,
Sutter
boy,
Coast?
that's another.
Yeah, it's fun, huh?
Man, I want to tell you something. Everything happens for a reason. And I think I just come back from Sacramento, and I was talking to this guy. I go to the Roots and Shoots meetings once a month.
Wait, what's Roots and Shoots?
It's a garden club.
Oh, cool.
I like to garden.
I was sure it was about shooting.
No, Roots. That sounds like fun. Where's the meeting? Here locally? Is it a group?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It is.
Oh, cool.
Anyway, she said something about she was planning to go to the Sutter Coast, the Del Norte Health Care District meeting but she wasn't going to go. And I said, well, where is it? She told me, and I went, oh my God. The first meeting I go to, right? And they almost had a riot because the board members were like fighting back and
Was that
forth.
the one that had the big blow up that resulted in
I was the one that yelled, hey. I was the one that said, excuse me, how are we going to resolve anything if you guys are bickering like this amongst each other? I was nervous. It really upset me when I saw that.
Wow.
Wow.
I tried to hold back, but I just couldn't. So anyway, that started me doing legal research on the Sutter Coast Hospital issue. So I read 6 volumes of legal documents, and then I discovered that there's this little shield called welfare exempt nonprofit status that every hospital can have access to.
What's that give them?
That means they're nonprofit. So, like when Sutter Coast made $10.8 million for profits in 2014, I'm kind of curious about how they got away with that.
Well, what's the welfare exempt part
Okay,
mean?
welfare exempt means that you do not have any businesses operating within the hospital, and what I mean by that is this. A reference laboratory, do you know what a reference laboratory is? A reference laboratory is a laboratory that not only takes care of the inpatients of the hospital, but when a doctor gives you blood work to do, it takes care of patients from other doctors' office. It's a commercial laboratory.
Okay.
So in a rural setting, you can have that. You can.
So a reference laboratory is something. The reference meaning like
that means other
referred to
doctors. Other doctors.
Gotcha.
Send their patients there to get blood work done. So, but that's considered a business. So the thing is, the only difference is that because we're rural, it would be okay to have that in a nonprofit status.
Okay.
But there's a glitch here, because there's another commercial laboratory in town, internal medicine. So we're checking into that. And the other business that they have in the hospital is the physical therapy, the radiology group, MRIs, CAT scans. And now those might fall under the guidelines because we're in a rural setting. There's not other radiology groups.
There's lots of
But there's
physical therapists.
therapy right
There's
here.
lots of physical therapy.
Yeah.
So there's
Let me ask just a quick
Okay.
question, just to make sure I'm keeping up with
Okay.
this, because this is something that's just crazy big.
Okay.
All right. So the other businesses, are you saying that that's a way for Sutter Health to then make money like it was a for-profit corporation?
under the shield of welfare exempt.
And are
Okay.
they using the fact that there is nothing else here? Is that why they get
Are they sort
to-
of padding their services?
Why is that rural?
Well,
part?
I don't think anybody's checking.
No,
Okay.
but
But-
the reason they have the ability to do that because it's a rural area is the assumption that there is no other place. Is
That's
that it?
my guess.
Okay.
Okay, but here's the thing: is that when you have other resources on the outside, they might not be able to qualify for that.
Exactly. Yes.
So, which means, what they did was Board of Equalization, they have to sign a form every year. And one of the questions is, do you have any operating businesses within your hospital
Okay.
that you have to claim as profit?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They said no.
Oh.
Yeah, for 10 years they said no. So anyway, make a long story short is that I brought this to the attention of our newly elected county assessor, Jennifer Perry, who is very bright.
Mm-hmm.
She's on it,
Wow.
because what that means is that they could probably go back and
Get
get
some
the
sort
back
of back tax.
taxes.
Exactly. Yes.
Now, the other rule is that in order for a nonprofit can make, they can't make over 10% of their operational cost in a
Okay.
year, which means that this Sutter Coast Hospital in 2014 would have had to have over $100 million operational cost, which I probably find that hard to believe. But you never know. So we're going to see. So what that means...
with healthcare numbers, I never know.
I know, it's one
So how
surgery,
does that-
100,000.
How does that all fit into what the issue is? Is if we hit them in the pocketbooks, because Sutter Coast Hospital, they're taking a position, and in fact, they just fired some doctors a couple of weeks ago that had just moved up here. Their whole families and everything was here for 5 months. Fired them because they're still trying to go after that critical access.
Wait, who was still this? So they don't want the doctors. They didn't want the doctors here.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So they fire them.
So you don't believe that they've actually tabled the whole critical access issue?
I think that they're trying to. I think that they're deceiving the people, but I have faith in Dr. Duncan, because I know, I heard him at a presentation out at the Smith River neighborhood meeting that they're going to start looking into maybe getting Asante up here and getting other doctors up here.
Wow.
And, there's no competitive clause, which when I first started doing the research, I did find a competitive clause. But apparently they got that all worked out.
How so? What's the competitive clause?
The competitive clause says that you cannot bring other entities up here to compete against Sutter.
Gotcha. So the county can't go and go after other.
Right. But I think they got that all cleaned up. That's all been taken care of, according to Dr. Duncan. So basically, if we want things to change up here, we're going to have a group of doctors that go and recruit other doctors up here, either with Sutter Coast or without them. But we need that infusion center here. Excuse me.
Oh, that's all. I've tried to keep on top of the Sutter Health, Sutter Coast thing, and I have to confess that for a long time I was one of those people when in the triplicate I come across a Sutter article, and I just kind of go okay and turn the page, because it just seems so much to try to keep stay on top of and understand, and I was being lazy, but no, I really regret that now, because it's so important. And having watched the CEO from Sutter Coast, Mitch Hanna, give his 6 monthly presentation to the Board of Supervisors, and he's talking specifically about having, timeshares up here for doctors to come up and to live in, and to, he's saying, we're bringing more doctors up, we're bringing more specialists up, we've tabled the critical care part of it, and we want just, we're a hospital. Yeah, you were there.
I heard that too, but it was very, it was disgusting to find out that they had fired their nurse anesthetist. I have a really hard time saying that word.
That's a hard one. Yeah.
And a couple of doctors.
I'll be.
You know what? So what does that tell you? I mean, he's putting on a dog and pony show.
So you're not buying it.
No, not anymore.
Interesting.
Not after I found out those doctors got fired.
Okay. So then let's recap. Then what do we do with this?
What do we do with this? Is we got to take the bull by the horns. We got to get a group up here. We got to see if Asante's interested in coming up here. We need to get the doctors that we need. We need a kidney dialysis and an infusion center up here, because that's the only. I don't like the idea that our sick have to be stressed out about driving to Eureka every day.
On last chance grade.
Chance grade, but it's too far.
Yeah.
When you're sick, I have a friend that's currently undergoing radiation treatment. She has to live down there for 6 weeks, because you got to have that every day for 6 weeks. And when she was doing chemotherapy, she'd have to drive down twice a week.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
That's
a lot. That's asking a lot
mileage.
For
that's a lot of money leaving town. That's a lot of everything.
And a lot of stress for an immune system on chemotherapy
Absolutely.
too. Yeah.
Wow.
No.
Yeah.
We have got to, and here's what really upset me, is in January when Roger Gitlin brought this issue up to the Board of Supervisors, they shut him down because he talked about, we need to maybe look at taxing this nonprofit hospital. Oh my God. Miss McClure and Mr. Finnegan both were just like beating the drums loud. It just, boom, it stopped right there.
Mhm.
And we never heard another thing about it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why there needs to be change
Mhm.
up here, because when somebody's been in office that many years, they're not doing anybody any good anymore. After 2 terms, that's it.
So you're for term limits?
I am for term limits.
Okay. And why? Why is that?
Well, it's like I said. After the first couple of years, it probably takes you a little bit to get the rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I have an upper edge with that because I understand what I'm reading when it comes to the law issues. And then after that, after 8 years, you need fresh. You need fresh minds, and you need fresh everything. After that, you're just getting a paycheck, and you're a professional politician. Thank you.
Go ahead.
I would say that I hear excitement in your voice that I have never heard in, okay, well, this is the time for the Board of Supervisors,
Yes,
and we're
well,
going to
yeah.
meet, and whatever.
And
yeah,
that-
so I get
Thank
you
you.
about that. There's
And that's the pickle that Bob Berkowitz was gave me the meme for, right?
Speaking of Bob Berkowitz,
Yes.
I know he has issues with the quality of it, but what's your opinions of the legalization of weed?
Oh, boy, do I have one for you.
Oh, right. You were saying that. She said, "Thank you for remembering that." Okay. Oh, knee slapping time. All right, let's go.
But are you getting quality
But
weed?
are you getting quality?
Oh my God. Okay, first off, we got to educate the public. I understand there's people out there that are totally against legalization of recreational marijuana, right? But you know what? The people that are smoking it they're already there, and it's not going to. That's
It being illegal hasn't stopped that.
you know what?
Yeah.
No. So bottom line is there's 2 components to the marijuana.
Mhm.
Okay. There's the component, there's the recreation, there's the soap, there's the shampoos, there's the
Your hemp oil, this, and your
the-
hemp cloth, and
everything.
yeah.
And then the other component and building materials too, right? Okay. The other component is the medicinal component. And I've watched videos. I remember a New Jersey couple. I'm sure everybody's aware of the story. They had a 5-year-old daughter who had 300 seizures a day, and she went backwards. She couldn't do anything. She went back into infant.
Yeah, so she
Okay.
starts the regression and the
So
that's
they
the development.
literally moved from New Jersey because Christie wouldn't have nothing to do with it, right? Okay, so they moved from New Jersey to Colorado, and those seizures, she went from 300 a day to like 3 a month. But the oils, the medicinal oil that they gave their daughter, and now she's a completely functional child.
Man.
See, there's so much we don't know about this drug because the federal government has not allowed us to research it. We don't know what kind of medicinal qualities. I mean, we know some things, and it's not all about smoking.
No.
No, there's oils, there's salve.
The topical stuff is supposed to work really well as
That's
like an
what I've
analgesic.
heard.
Yeah, that's what I've heard as well. If you got something sore or an injury or something like that, and a hemp oil sort of salve.
It's with everything. If you abuse it, that's people abuse things.
People abuse-
Alcohol used to be the prohibition of alcohol started as a medicinal thing, right? Of course, then it turned recreational. But there's alcoholics.
People
I don't see and violent alcoholics
Yeah.
at that. Okay, marijuana.
There aren't a lot
I
of
don't
violent
see
potheads.
that people. I don't.
I'm a weedaholic.
Well, so no, what?
So the industry. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go
the
ahead.
industry that's another industry that could be brought here because what would come with that? I mean, first you're going to have. Mr. Berkowitz said, "Oh, well, we don't want people planting seeds in their backyard and growing marijuana." No, I don't think that would work. You have to think about this. There's going to be cultivation permits. and it's not going to be in your backyard, okay? I do know that there's probably people growing stuff in their house and stuff, but you know what? You got to contain that smell because you can get lawsuits over nuisance.
Oh, yeah.
And if you trespass onto other people's property, that's a nuisance, okay? So you don't want that. Now, I think this, get this. You're going to love this. Oh, my God. I went and talked to the city manager in Brookings the other day. I said, what can you tell me about, the profits a little bit?
Sure.
So he said, we just had a meeting last night. I thought, okay, well, tell me. Pray tell. So anyway, there's 3 dispensaries up there in Brookings, right? And one of them came forward at a city council meeting to show them the taxes he pays. He pays $9,000 to $11,000 a month to state taxes.
Wow.
Now, I said, well, how much does Brookings get? He says, well, we didn't tax them. And I'm like, what?
What?
Yeah, they're going to be putting it on the ballot this year for 3% tax on on top of the 25% that the state gets, right?
Yeah.
But currently, and this was in the newspaper, of course, that the state makes $3.48 million a month.
Wow. So $3.5 million a month from recreational marijuana? Wow. So let's see.
Yeah.
So
Now, go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Now, I think I read somewhere where one of the senators in California wants to tax medicinal marijuana, and I'm sorry, I wouldn't support that.
No. No, do they tax other medicines?
That's exactly the point.
No.
I won't say, I can't remember, was it McGuire that wanted to do that? I can't remember who I read, but I was like, no, that's not going to fly.
No.
But you know what? Crescent City, we've got a hell of a debt here. They got a $44 million gorilla on their back, okay?
Yeah.
You don't think, and then they
I'm
ban
going to start calling it the $44 million gorilla, too,
That's
because I like
right.
that. That's good.
$44 million gorilla. They banned right off the get-go, we're not going to sell marijuana of our city. Okay, you guys just screwed yourself.
Right? Yes.
So
Yes.
let me get this straight. Let me understand something. The city of Brookings could have made a whole bunch of money, but they didn't, and it went to Salem, right?
That's right.
So if we take this scenario here, the money will go to Sacramento and not to Crescent City if we just ignore this.
Oh, wait a minute. You got the county, though. You see, now our county board of supervisors need to start looking at what they're going to do because, come on now, if the city's not going to be bright enough in their infinite wisdom to tax the dispensaries, then gosh darn, I hope the county is going to, I want to be a part of that because I think that we could all benefit from that.
And it does seem Delaware County
The programs you could bring, I mean,
Testing
and
facility?
you know what? Who knows? It might fund a new jail. It could. There's so much it could fund. And I know $3.5 million a month ain't a lot of money, really. But it's. I think about the programs
They
that
are-
we could
Yeah.
create.
They're still trying to raise the $30,000 for the dog park. I think $3.5
For the
million.
what?
Is
Oh, for the dog
park. Yeah.
I think that will be a lot
but
of money for
Crescent City
them.
doesn't want to have sell marijuana in their city limits. Oh Lord.
Yes.
That's why I say the government here is stifling. They stifle the very ability to make this into a booming county and city.
Do you have any sort of idea why that is? Because that's something we talk about often. But
I think it's because we're so far away from everything. Because, when I love to go to Sacramento. I know most people are like, Sacramento.
Yeah, I know.
Cowtown. No, I love Sacramento because there is a lot of energy there. And when you're around energy that's creative, you pick up and you learn things. But out here, we're in the rural area of the state, and there's creative minds here, but they just haven't, for some reason, got elected on the city council or the board of supervisors.
No, you're absolutely right, and I'm trying to just kind of judge. So in your thought process, your estimation, then it's just simply, just because we're backwoods, it kind of makes us, I don't know, insular. Like we're insulated from other things and stale because of that. That's interesting.
Stale is a good word. It's unfortunate to say that, but you know what? Nobody has ambition.
Or vision.
Yeah, I can
seems
see
like.
that. Yeah.
Oh, I remember when I announced that I was running, they said, "You have no vision." And I'm like,
Yeah. And
okay.
Wow,
I think bigger than the box, okay?
What, you don't think the Smith River is the cause of everything in the world?
yeah, the rising. So
what would be interesting here is that they say we have no place to build anything. Okay, well, when you have no place to build anything, where do you build?
up.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bing.
So what? We would need a high rise? What do you say? I've always wanted to.
Well, it's the harbor thing, right? They're building their
they're
high rise.
they're five. They're
so
five-story
they can be
thing
on
in
the
harbor.
top and be safe from a tsunami.
It's really funny.
That's
yeah.
it.
Oh.
The office is above the whatever
Right.
evacuation center they want to do. So, thanks.
I've wondered what it is that holds this, and this is what gets me when we're talking about Martha and David on the board of supervisors. It's when you have it, and it seems to me, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know, but it seems to me there's just much more discontent in this election year than there has been in recent memory. And I know in the recent memory we've had like DA runs that were crazy, and the sheriff run last time, but it just seems like for board of supervisors in the city, and it might just be because I'm more involved in it this time because of KFUG, but that there's just a lot of discontent. There are people out there who are genuinely not happy with the status quo, so much so. And it's so widespread that it seems, in my mind, to make it very difficult for David Finnegan and for Martha McClure, who represent, the longest version of the status quo on the Board of Supervisors. It's very difficult for them to stand up and defend the last 15, 20 years.
Well, they're just they're just stale.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not saying that their work they've got some good work behind them, but you know what? Whenever your shoe is 25 years old, do you still wear it when there's holes and stuff in it? I don't think so. You gotta kind of let it go.
That's great. That's really good. That's a good. That's a good line. Oh man, Linda, is there anything that we haven't hit upon that you would like to hit upon?
Let's see. What about you guys? What about 199?
Okay. All right.
Is it almost time to stop
To stop what?
Stop what?
talking?
Oh no! We can, as long as you're willing to keep our show's done at 7. It's 7.
At
Our show's
7?
done at 7. We've
Oh
got
my God!
a few
that's
hours
so much
to go.
time now.
No, it's done at 1. We're 16 minutes away from 1. If you're more than welcome to keep talking. So that's not. I'm not trying to shuffle it off or anything.
No. Because I think somebody's asked, what was kind of going on with that, and right now, I mean, first off, Caltrans is starting to be a little bit of a thorn on my side. Apparently what they did was said, okay, we're going to go and widen the roads on 199 and 197, and they didn't do an environmental
Study.
impact study. In fact, I forgot to bring the paperwork down here. They said that basically they found there would be no impact on the river and the salmon, and just rubber stamped it and tried to send it through. But this man named Ted Souza, I don't even know who he is or what he represents. There's 7 causes of action against Caltrans and the National Marine Fisheries Services because of that, because they rubber stamped it. Nobody did their due diligence, which is typical here.
Yeah.
And so right now it's in the court system.
So let me. I don't know. Clarify for me. Are you for or against the widening of 199?
What I'm for,
increasing
first off, let's first off, they violated some laws that have been laws since 1970s, and that's the Endangered Species Act. Okay, and if you can work together with everybody, do all the proper, do your due diligence, and working together with the environmentalists and whatnot else, to safely widen that highway without affecting our salmon, which, they're having a hard time, the salmon are right now, then I'm for it. But if you're going to kill off the fish and you're going to subject the river to poisonous, like, I guess they had a diesel truck turnover years ago.
Yeah. Up in the Narrows right there.
That's our drinking water, folks.
Yeah, and that was it was Renner Petroleum. Renner, I just want to say, if you don't remember that or not, people do. Renner bent over backwards to make sure that was cleaned up and taken care of.
Well,
really,
good. I'm happy to hear that. But
Yeah.
I sure wouldn't want to take the chance of that happening again. I'm a river rat. And you know what? That river to me is sacred.
It's a magical river. It truly is.
It is a magical river.
Not just because of the metaphysical things and being a river rat, but you're absolutely right. It is our drinking water too.
It's our drinking water.
Yeah.
It's the coho salmon's habitat in the steelhead, I believe, too.
Yep.
And I'm not much of a fisherman. I can put a worm on a hook, and that's about it.
I eat fish. I don't go get it.
I like to eat. Yeah.
Sushi.
But, excuse me.
So, no, you're
So,
absolutely...
yeah.
Go ahead.
Let me understand something. So Caltrans goes and rubber stamps something to widen 199 and then go and say, oh, we can't do anything about 101 because we need to environmental study this, which we didn't on 199?
Yeah.
That is a very good concept.
Yeah.
So thanks.
Well, let me tell you another little story about Caltrans. This happened this year, and this hasn't even been in the newspaper.
Ooh, boy.
But I know
Shocking
for a
and
fact.
surprise. Yeah.
On February 12th, at about 2:30 in the morning, this kid was riding his bicycle over Railroad Bridge. Do you know where that is?
Is that the one over the highway?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Railroad Bridge is out of compliance, but they had
Out
money.
of compliance, what, lane-wise or how?
You know that. When you walk over those bridges, they usually have like a barrier on each side, so cars don't fall over, right?
Sure.
Well, Railroad Bridge is out of compliance. It's only 18 inches high, and it's supposed to be 48.
Whoa. Really?
Kid falls off the bridge, almost dies.
Uh-huh.
Okay, CHP don't even write a report, and neither did the sheriff's office. But he's taken into Sutter Coast Hospital, flown out of this area at the tune of $63,000 to Reading, and he lives to tell the story. Well, the mother gets a hold of the headquarters down in Eureka and was informed...
For what? For Caltrans?
For Caltrans, and was informed, we appropriated funds for them to get into code. It's supposed to be 48 inches high, and it was supposed to have been done by February 12th, the day that he fell off.
Oh, jeez.
Ooh, hello.
Wow.
Yeah.
I
So
haven't
tell
heard anything
me,
about that. Yeah, where's that money? Why isn't that work done?
what is Caltrans doing?
Huh.
And then they want to tell us, Last Chance Grade is safe. Really? So is that bridge.
Yeah, very good point. Yeah. Wow.
I don't know.
Interesting.
Okay, so this just gets me, this gets me angry. I want to run for something now. So, what do you do then?
$300 in 2 years, and you can go for
That's
supervisor District 3.
So
That's
what do you do with that then? Other than just getting irate and running for Board of Supervisors, you're elected. What do you do then? What's the plan of action? Because I don't even know where to begin to address
First,
things
a
like
mustache.
that. You need the David Finnegan's mustache.
So people don't get confused. They
comes-
gotta be a gray area.
Yeah,
So.
You know, I bet he'll lose his stash.
Oh my God!
No.
It's a whole new Finnegan.
I think think I've seen him without a stash before. Anyway, maybe
Wow, I don't know if I ever.
Maybe
have.
you
That's-
imagined it. I don't know.
Probably, yeah. Anyway,
So I'm just curious. I mean, how does that work? What? I have no idea. I
well,
don't
as
know
a
how
board
what
of
I would do.
supervisor, I would be going over there and saying, "What's up?
Yeah.
What's
You
up,
know?
Caltrans? What's up?
Because the county's not going to be sued for that, because I don't know. I can't remember which side it happened on, but Caltrans will probably be sued for that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I mean, Caltrans their own entity, but we govern. Oh, I don't know what. To be honest with you, I'd have to go over there and say, "Hey, what's going on?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's
And
basically the
when
first.
can we expect this to be done? Because we need to alert the public that this is an unsafe bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's families that ride bicycles on that bridge.
Yeah.
And you know how strong the wind's here. So if
But-
it happened to one person, it could happen again.
And even if you've allocated the money, so the money's out there, where's the money then? Why hasn't
Where
the
is it
work?
lost?
Well, I would be
yeah.
asking questions for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting.
I mean,
Wow.
as a board of supervisor, you can go in and ask the questions, and you can start
And
from there.
make sure an
and
issue
work
like that makes the paper too, so that
Oh,
everybody
absolutely.
can hear it.
But you definitely need to alert the public and let them know that there's an issue here.
Yeah.
And see, Caltrans, it's like everything else up here. If nobody knows about it, then it gets shoved under the rug.
Yep.
and
Yeah.
and hey, nobody knows about it, and we'll just work on that another day.
Yeah.
But in
Yeah.
the meantime, where is the money?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And you've got to know where that's going, what's that. And that's a whole underside. And I would.
Yeah. This is why we do this, right?
I
This
guess
It's
so.
called
show.
transparency, folks.
Mm-hmm.
It in all levels, in every entity.
And to have a
Trans-
government that doesn't respond with defensiveness right off the bat. If somebody steps up and goes, "I want to know something," and then they're like, "Oh, nope, this
Yeah.
you can't see this."
No, they'll sit there and look at you with their blank faces.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But if I was told that as a board of supervisor, I'd probably be jumping up and down in my chair and couldn't wait to get through the meeting so I could get on the phone and start working on that issue.
There you go.
There you go.
Boom!
Right there. Right there. Linda, thank you so very, very much. That's perhaps the best visual to leave it with too. Is if elected, you will
Jump up
listen
the
and then jump up and down on the chair and get on the phone and make things happen. That's
want
beautiful.
Hey, you
I want
guys,
this meeting
thank
to be
you so
done.
much for having me.
Oh, hey,
I really
thank you.
appreciate it.
And we've tried to meet out the Fridays between now and the election, but there at some point we may ask you back and come on and talk some more about stuff. Okay.
All right.
Maybe about specific issues we were talking about, because
Okay.
there are things that you are in line with other candidates that we know about, but you're also in line with these other candidates.
You're an interesting candidate.
You are an interesting candidate. You don't fall.
You're
you
not
don't,
just one side.
You don't fall into a box. You seem to. That's refreshing. Thank
Which
you very
is
much.
a good thing for Delaware County because we don't fit into a box.
We do not.
No,
And
we
maybe-
got to think outside the box.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that.
Big,
You know,
big.
bigger than the box.
Gorilla big.
Gorilla big.
Well, Linda Sutter, she is running for Board of Supervisors, District 5, against who else is going on there? We've got Berkowitz and
Finnegan.
we've got Finnegan and Colton, correct?
Terry Colton.
And Terry Colton. Yeah. What are your thoughts about? Last thing. This is
Okay.
something we all go ahead.
We always
Terry
ask.
Colton, I don't know. I saw her resume.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people ask me for my resume. I'm like, okay, well, I don't have a political resume because I'm not a polished politician, nor am I a professional politician. But let me tell you what I've done for my community. When children needed money to go to the fair, they would come and ask me if they could work for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'd have them pull weeds, you know, $10 an hour.
You paid a living wage.
I
Wow.
paid
Yeah,
above
that's
the living
more.
wage.
Yeah.
When people need legal work done and they can't afford an attorney in there, I do it. I listen to their story and I'll get angry because I'm like, what? That happened to you? And so then I'm like, all right, all right. So I start doing my legal research and I do legal briefs and I don't charge them for that.
Mm-hmm.
That's my contribution. I've been there. I've been there where I felt helpless and I didn't know what to do. I took a time to go to school and learn my skills, and it's my passion. And so my resume is my passion, to make this county into a bigger, better county, into a prosperous county, and into a county where we can be proud of and bring back empowering the people. You need to empower the people. And that's what I want for my county.
Linda, that's a beautiful sentiment and a beautiful vision, and we wish you all the luck in this.
I
election.
love resume is my passion.
That's beautiful.
Awesome.
That's
I don't
really
have
good.
a written resume. I don't have, I've been doing this for 20, 30 years and blah, blah, blah. No.
Nope. That's good. That's fine. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Linda, thank you again very, very, very much. It was nice talking to you, and we'll probably have you back on again to talk some more.
Okay, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a refreshing vision for Del Norte County.
Yes.
Linda Sutter running for District 5, a Board of Supervisors, and like we were saying, up against let's see, David Finnegan, the incumbent, Terry Colton, and Bob Berkowitz, all seeking that seat. Wow. I'm only just beginning to develop like favorites. That's all. I just want to say that. I enjoyed this conversation with Linda Sutter.
But we do not support anybody
cannot,
because
no,
we
we
are
stay
an open
impartial.
place for everybody. Yeah.
Her passion is her resume. That's beautiful.
Yes.
Let's play some songs and collect ourselves, and then we'll be back on Small Town Talk on KFUG Community Radio.